You are responsible for your own integrity. Hey guys, it's John here in the studio, drinking beautiful apple cider on my vacation. This is the first day of my actual technical vacation. I just have to make a few more videos to finish out while I'm away. So I thought I'd jump on and make these few videos and get ahead. And I wanted to go on and talk about this idea of integrity. I've talked about integrity before because of other experiences I've had, but I wanted to talk about the idea that you are responsible for your own integrity. You know, people used to say the old phrase, you know, is your word any good? You know, is your word any good? For me personally, my whole goal in life is to deliver empowering messages and help people break free of their limitations and move forward in their life and create lives that they're very happy to live and very proud of. And a big part of that is being in integrity. Now, integrity goes hand in hand with being your authentic self. And, you know, Mark Twain once said, if you tell the truth, you don't have to remember anything. You know, and integrity has a big part of that idea of having of telling the truth, speaking your truth, your way, your life. You know, I am the truth, the way, and the life, right? We're the way, the truth, and the life. So integrity has a big part of being honest and being truthful with yourself and with others. And if you're not being truthful with others, you're actually judging yourself as someone who's not truthful, because then your word is not good. And you become known as someone who is without integrity. To give an example, I do a lot of private sessions. In fact, in 2023, I have done over 600 private sessions. For every private session I do, I sit down and I do a channeled writing for over 600 of them in 2023, which means an hour before the session, I'm already in front of the camera. I turn the camera on a minute or two before the actual session and make sure all my tech is right, so that when it comes time for my session, I am there as I said I would be, as my word is. When I do a session like that, and what happens is sometimes people don't show, and it's very rare. It's almost never does someone not show, but sometimes people just don't show. Well, I recently had one who didn't show, and what I do is I wait for 10 minutes. But I'm like, if they're not there in 10 minutes, then really, then they're not coming. And I really can't keep my word and have my integrity for the rest of the day if I get off schedule. So after 10 minutes, I send them a message saying, sorry I missed you. Something must have come up on your end. Here's the link to reschedule. That has happened for every person who's missed. Every person who's missed has gotten that exact message. The experience I had the other day, and the reason I wanted to tell this is I wanted to show you that if you have integrity, it's okay to stand up for what you're saying and what you're believing. You know, a lot of times people who live into the spiritual world will feel that they've done something wrong, or feel that they should be doing this or helping that person even more, and so on and so forth. So the other day I had someone who didn't show up. And I sent them the message like I always do. Then I get a message saying, I've been trying to get on for 20 minutes and it says I need a password and all this stuff. Well, you never really need a password to get into one, but there is actually a password that is sent with you if there's something technical issue. So the password, she already had the password, so it couldn't have been a password issue, really. She says, she went on, she signed up for the reschedule, which of course now is a long way out, right? She got very, very disgusted that I only stayed for 10 minutes, which to me is her session was one of my old 30-minute ones, so it was already over a third of the session that she would have had anyway. And then she booked her new session. 3 hours later, I get this message saying, John, you weren't there 5 minutes before, 5 minutes after, 10 minutes after. You weren't online, and I want my refund. And I'm like, she's already rebooked this session. She's already, and what she didn't realize is that when I go on Zoom sends me messages that tell me when people sign in. And she didn't sign into that session until 17 after. Now, that would have been like, what, 12 minutes before her session would have ended? But the second I read it, I was like, I know because of the Zoom records that I signed in in her case, 5 minutes early. I know that I signed out at 10 minutes after because I have those Zoom records. I know that she signed in at 17, at 17 after. So I had all the records knowing exactly what happened. And she was trying to say that I didn't show up. Well, the reason she was saying I didn't show up is because she wanted a refund, and she was trying to say that I was not in integrity. Well, in those kind of situations, and in this one as well, I basically let her know. I know that you're not telling me the truth because I have all the Zoom records that say when you signed in at 17 after. I said the Zoom records also show that I was there 5 minutes early and that I signed out 10 minutes after, just like I said. So I don't have to bow to a bully who's trying to just get money back. And in her case, I believe she was also trying to get that extra session too, because she had booked it and accepted it. So in this situation, I basically ended up saying, you know what? You're right. You're not in integrity. And I don't want to work with someone like you. So I will gladly refund your money. And I canceled her new session. The part about this that stands out to me is that I stayed in integrity. I did everything I was supposed to do. I channeled a message for her. I showed up 5 minutes early. I waited for 10 minutes after the session was supposed to start. She never showed. When she said she showed up, and I wasn't there during all those times, that was an absolute lie. And I'm going to say that bluntly. That was an absolute lie because she didn't even sign in until 17 after. So a lot of people in this situation, especially spiritual people or empathic people, would go, oh my God, how do I solve this? How do I help this person? Sometimes people who aren't in integrity aren't there to be helped. They're just trying to prove that they're a victim of the world. And in that situation, you have to stay in integrity for yourself and say, you're right. I don't want to work with you because you're not in integrity. And, I work with people all day long. I work with people 12 hours a day, 4 days a week, and then I do videos on top of that and everything else, right? I live my life in integrity. My word is good. And when someone comes in and tries to literally say, she was implying that I was lying, that I wasn't there. And when I mentioned that I had the records, I never heard from her again. So I'm not trying to make this video a complaining video about her. What I'm trying to do is give this video is to show you that you don't have to be run over by people who aren't in integrity. You don't have to give in to the person who's bullied, because all it is bullying and lying, and they're living untruth as opposed to truth, and it's not your responsibility to help them, And so, in my mind, this person, it was just someone who wasn't in integrity, and because they weren't in integrity, when I canceled her session, I have to give a reason in the reason I canceled, and I said, not in integrity. That's exactly what I wrote in the section, which I'm sure she saw. But to me, it does not matter. Sometimes being the most loving thing you can do is be the consequence for somebody. And so I was the consequence. I let her know that not only was she not going to get a private session with me, but she was never going to get a private session with me because I don't want to work with her, who's coming to and accusing me of not being integrity when I strive to always be in integrity. And of all those 600 sessions I did this past year, I've never been late for one. And so that's my thought on this. You guys take care of yourself and don't let other people bully you, or if you're in integrity, then stand your ground, because that's important, that you live your way, your truth in your life, and you don't let people say that you're not. And so that's my thought on this. You guys have a great day, and I'll talk to you soon. See ya. Bye.